Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt. I'm the mayor of ohmTown.com. That's the site that's right there. It's a news aggregator that grabs a bunch of articles and throws them into 6 main categories and 50 channels underneath it, all of which I intend to bring to Twitch and now YouTube as well. The problems of being mayor of a virtual community is profound. And I've had to triage this last week greatly, and it's been impacting the time frame in which I am actually streaming. And unfortunately, today is another day of exactly that. Tomorrow, I hope that I will not have to worry about it, and from now on, I may not have to worry about it, but we shall see. That said, I'm going to get into today's news before 1 o'clock and after 11 a.m. But today is May 12th, 2022. It's episode number 132. I have done this 132 days in a row, starting on the first. Actually, it was last year's the very first day. But I've been streaming every day at either 11 p.m., 11 a.m., or today is a glitchy day where I'm pretty much triaging everything that's coming in. And my camera isn't wide enough. I mean, it is wide enough, but I haven't opened it up wide enough so that you can actually see more of me. But you see my disembodied hands, and they're bigger than, I mean, my hands are huge in this. They're bigger than my head, and I'm going to squash my head. Squish, squish. You ever see that at Kids in the Hall where he's squishing people's heads? Anyway, on with the show. Welcome to ohmTown. Appreciate it. If you are in my stream, awesome. If not, then you're downloading it via the podcast or you're watching it over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. I am continuing to do this. I will continue to do this in the future, and hopefully I get to do it more often. And this summer I'm going to be streaming 6 to 8 hours a day, games and whatnot. I'm actually kind of prepping for it, getting some games that I'm going to be playing. Most of them are kind of chill games, base building games like No Man's Sky and Nessus and others. And I just got a couple more today, so we'll keep on moving forward and see if it can be entertaining for you all to hang out and talk about news and talk about gaming and talk about ohmTown. So hopefully I've got some changes coming down the pike here for the site as well as for the stream. So stick around, please. Let's get into it. First article is about, it's in Tabletop Nights, which is a show about gaming. Tabletop gaming in particular. This thing is a game called it's Bethesda's upcoming massive RPG, misses its November 11th launch date, and it's been delayed to 2023. Let's just get straight into that link. It takes us over to rpgsite.net, and the author is Josh Torres. And it says, we've made the decision to delay the launch of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin, which is Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, which is Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. You know, I guess it's commendable, but this is just maybe some teasing. Maybe we need some alpha. We need some early access kind of a thing. Even if it isn't the full product, it's worked for indie games. I think it can work for big time games as long as it hints at being somewhat great. Create a minimum viable product that teases us enough and lets us play a demo. It's just the culture of the way software development works nowadays, particularly with Steam. And their vision of early access, I think, is just spectacular. Giving access early on allows people to see the benefit of it, or cut your losses and run because it's just horrible. And some games need that. I think this would be great for that. Open it up to sporadic alpha tests. Open it up, let people play it, close it down, make some evolutionary changes, revolutionary changes, and don't let it be kind of an echo chamber of what you want versus what the community will want based on what is available. That's just my take. I don't own the companies, so there you go. The next article is EV company Lordstown completes $230 million sale of its Ohio factory to Foxconn. So struggling EV company Lordstown Lordstown completed the sale of its Ohio factory to Foxconn, the Taiwanese company that assembles Apple's iPhone. The factory, which sold for $230 million, will now become the site of a joint venture between the two companies. The deal was originally set to close last month, but Lordstown kept pushing back the deadline. If the sale wasn't completed before May 18th, the company would have had to pay back the $200 million that Foxconn put down as a deposit. Wow, they put down $200 million, only had to pay $30 million more to close the deal. This is an article over at TheVerge.com by Andrew J. Hawkins. Lordstown lives to fight another day. Well, I guess with an infusion, maybe they can do both. Keep on pushing. It says a new joint venture will be called MIH EV Design LLC and will be 55% owned by Foxconn and 45% by Lordstown. Foxconn will commit $100 million to the joint venture, including a $45 million loan to Lordstown to build a lineup of pickup trucks. Since buying it from General Motors in 2019, Lordstown Motors has put about $240 million worth of work into getting the factory ready to build its electric pickup truck, the Endurance. Well, good luck. Foxconn has spent much of the last year talking about expanding into electric vehicles as a way to diversify away from consumer, which is China's largest private automaker, as well as Fisker Incorporated, a California EV startup that has yet to make an electric vehicle. That's not true. Fisker has an electric vehicle. I saw it in my parking lot. Okay, anyway. Foxconn has also developed its own electric vehicle platform that it intends to sell. Hold on a second. AAV Paxton. NetChoice and the CCIA were successful in blocking. Addie Robertson is the author of the article over at claimed web services like Twitter are not websites and compared them to phone companies like Verizon, which are governed under specific common carrier rules set by the FCC. No, they are not. They are not phone companies like Verizon. They allow for communication in various forms, and they're not riding on specific lines that have treaties and whatnot. It's a website and a database, for crying out loud. This is all bananas, and I hope that Texas is taken to the cleaners for this. This is a violation. I should be able to control the content on my site if I so choose to. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm sure that there will be countless lawsuits that come from this. But they're using taxpayer monies, and only a select few actually give a crap about this stuff. What they want is free speech, and they want the ability to moderate if needed. They want to be able to kick people off of a website if needed, and just like any business. I should be able to kick anybody out as long as it doesn't violate certain protected classes who have fought for generation after generation to get that protection, because there is yet again some oppressive microbody of people who think that their way is the only way, whereas everybody else on the right side of this is saying everybody is included in this. Nobody's rules, nobody's rights, nobody's anything is being limited. They are literally, everybody else except these fundamentalists are extremist fundamentalists are sitting there opening the arms of everybody to allow more people to engage in of everybody involved in an abortion, and that's harming everybody except for the ultra rich and ultra politically connected. They'll be able to get their abortion wherever they want. I mean, they'll hire a doctor and go overseas and get it done and then come back and nobody will know. But all of the middle class and lower class, everybody who doesn't have the finances or the political connections or the ability to hide, will still they'll suffer, and all of these ultra rich people will get away with it. Okay, anyway. Okay, 1 second. Let's see here. Democrats tried and failed on Wednesday to push forward legislation to guarantee abortion rights nationwide as Republicans and one Democrat in the Senate blocked an effort there. Because we know, I mean, the minutia of this doesn't really matter. Republicans unanimously oppose the measure. It's all because everybody else is Democrat. So, da-da. And then there's this one person who's probably rolling around like Scrooge McDuck in their authority and power because they're a senator. Let's continue on. The next article is in the most billable hours. Sorry, so the article is in the Law Nerd channel. The most billable hours in Big Law. That is an awful lot of billable hours. The most billable hours is in Above the Law. So that's the snippet that I get, but I always give credit to where I get the source from anyway. This is an article that is written by Catherine Rubino. And it says, according to data collected for the 2022 AM Law 100, how many hours did the top billing lawyer in the AM Law 100 bill? Hint, an attorney at Goodwin Procter billed the most hours in the AM Law 100 last year. See the answer on the next page. So let's click this link. Takes us over to, sorry, 1 second. That's 1,800, roughly 1,800 hours above the average number of work hours in a calendar year, which is just shy of 2,100. How did they? I have to hurry. I'm actually getting a bunch of messages as I am doing this show, and unfortunately, they chose now to reach out to me. And I've been in meetings all day, so I had to forge this from a block of time. Okay, so the next article is in the Hatch Ideas channel. 21 graduation gifts for your 8th graders that won't disappoint, from custom dessert boxes to tech that they've wanted forever. When you buy through the links at this site, it's going to benefit that site, not me. This is a businessinsider.com article. And I try to be... There's no shelves. But I do have an unboxing table right over there. But I haven't done any unboxings yet because nobody has sent me anything. Send me stuff. Come on, people. Box of tasty treats. Yeah. Cookies and candy are always good for people, but not necessarily good for people, if you know what I mean. Over-ear headphones. I actually give out JLabs headphones. They're durable. They are light. They are extremely long-lasting. Obviously, they're not meant for audiophiles because they don't use the same tech as higher end. Like Beats is $132. I can buy true wireless IEMs, in-ear monitors for $20, or I could buy over-ear or on-ear for the same amount. And they're wireless, they're Bluetooth, and they work. They get the job done. They won't have the range, the fidelity, pardon me as I scratch my nose, but they are very effective for somebody that's in 8th grade or going into 8th grade even. Tickets to their favorite performer. That's a tough call. An LED game. All-in-one tablet. Definitely get them an iPad. Get your 8th grader an iPad. It is amazing technology that gives them connectivity to so much learning and communication at any given moment, depending on where they are. If they're in the car, they can communicate with friends, and they can stay connected. In school, they can use it all throughout school. Depending on the school, you know, sometimes people are bullies and real petas, but yeah, it's a great tool all around. Custom M&Ms, hey, that's pretty cool. TikTok worthy roller skates, I don't know about that one. Tried and true game console, so the Nintendo Switch is great. Although there's a lot of people talking about what's coming next, and even Nintendo's worried about it, and so many more things, jewelry and whatnot. So follow the link and go over to the 21 graduation gifts. Again, it's over at Business Insider and written by Emily Hine. The next article is in the Continuity Report, which is all about movies. Emily Blunt to star in criminal conspiracy film Pain Hustlers from David Yates. Emily Blunt will star in Pain Hustlers, a criminal conspiracy film directed by Fantastic Beasts Helmer, basically the director of David Yates. So that will be introduced to buyers at con. From a script by the true American writer Wells Tower, the film is produced by Lawrence Gray through his Gray Matter Productions banner and Witchwood Pictures. So let's click the link. It takes us over to Variety, and has a picture of the two, Emily Blunt and David Yates. So I don't know what else they really say in here. It just says production on Pain Hustlers is set to begin on August 22nd. The veterans and CAA Media Finance are representing the film at the Cannes Film Market. Gray originally pitched the project to Yates and Witchwood Pictures, and from there it sold to Sony. So there's where the big money is. That's where the licensing is going. Cool. Well, there you go. I'm all for criminal conspiracy films. I dig them. So let's go on to the next article. That too is in the Continuity Report. We're coming up on the weekend, so hopefully you get this and you go, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to watch a movie. Neither of these two movies are actually out, but this is a Hayden Panettiere to reprise Scream 4 role in new Scream movie. Fans who have been clamoring to see Hayden Panettiere return to the Scream franchise have gotten their wish. Spyglass Media and Paramount Pictures announced Wednesday that Panettiere will appear in the upcoming 6th movie, reprising her role from 2011's Scream 4, where she played Kirby Reed, a high school student and horror fanatic. Dun-dun! So this is an article over at Variety written by Angelique Jackson. And there's a YouTuber named CZ's World who does kind of horror history and does a really good rundown on all of the Scream movies and the history of it. And you should go and check him out. They talk about stuff in depth, and they go through things that you might miss. It has nothing to do with this article other than they talk about. Well, this will be fun to watch if you're into the Scream franchise. I will probably end up going back and watching all of them because I've never really watched any of them past the first one. But let's continue on to the next article. That's in the Word in Tech. And Disney CEO calls hypothetical ESPN streaming package the ultimate fan offering. Well, if it's hypothetical, you can't really embody it that way. So it's probably real. On the earnings call yesterday, Disney CEO Bob Chapek sounded like someone who has clear ideas on ESPN's fully streaming future. He told analysts and investors that when it comes time to actually pull the trigger, he believes ESPN can, quote, create the ultimate fan offering that will appeal to superfans, to the superfan who loves sports. Pardon me. I had to cough. I had to turn my head to cough. I think there's nobody but ESPN who could frankly pull that off. It's a weird sentence construction. But anyway, this isn't the first time we've heard Disney exec reference the potential of ESPN streaming. Former CEO Bob Iger said in 2015 that it'll eventually happen, but projected the possibility as more, I would assume, than 5 years out. Let's click the link. It takes us over to The Verge and an article written by Richard Lawler. It says here in a little caption, Disney isn't ready to pull the trigger on its linear cable network. Look, streaming is where it's at. They can control the ads to a greater degree. They can actually remove your ability to fast forward. And they have to want, the consumer has to walk that fine line of paying more and not getting ads, or the distributor, the company like Disney, saying, we can make more based on the ads than if you pay your monthly fee, but the option needs to be there. I want ad free and I'll pay a little bit more for it. My problem is they will continue to raise the costs based on what their losses are on the ad driven side. If the ad driven side proves more lucrative, they will raise the rates to the non-advertised side, and that arbitrage will create greater demand one way or the other, and they'll make more money either way, and they'll keep on pushing it. And I can almost count on it being at least 10%, $1 minimum every time, every year, a little bit, ding, 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 until they see a decline in consumer base, and then they freeze it right there, and people become familiar with it and comfortable with it, and they start signing up again. So it says here, this isn't the first time we've heard about heard a Disney exec reference that ESPN streaming platform. Right now, there are various iterations of it, but maybe it'll get consolidated into its own entire vertical. Everything is an additional fee. It's not included in anything. And it says, however, he continued on, at the same time, we're very conscious of our ability to go more aggressively into the direct-to-consumer, aka streaming area of ESPN. So what we're doing is sort of putting one foot on the dock, if you will, and one foot on the boat right now. I guess we're going to have to wait and watch, like always. We need more competitors, but they have to come ready with a ton of money, because you're not going to get any licensing deals from sports without having a ton of Pixel 6a. Google just revealed the Pixel 6a at Google I/O on Wednesday, and while it has a number of impressive specs for the mid-range device, it's missing one that the company has celebrated on its A-series line for years, the 3.5 headphone jack, aka the mini jack. So they nixed it, and you know why? Because Apple pushed the envelope and forced the evolution of wireless communication to the headphones, to the headsets. And because of that, Bluetooth has evolved. The technology has evolved. It was already evolving, but investment and market machinations forced the hand of competitors in the space. And so the tech becomes superior. And from that superior tech means you can get rid of things like the 3.5 mini jack. Some people want that analog part still there. Unfortunately, tech evolves. And if we can get the same thing wirelessly, then so be it. I despise wires. I want wireless HDMI, but it's wildly expensive and sometimes kind of glitchy. Pardon me, I just hit my mic. I want wireless HDMI. I want wireless charging. I want wireless USB. I want, which is basically Bluetooth, but having a lot of Bluetooth communication at once is going to muddy the waters in terms of signal. Just like Wi-Fi, if you have too many people crowding a particular bandwidth, then you have people dropping out. At any rate, I think it's a great thing. Let's get rid of cables. Jay Peters is the author of this article over at The Verge, and it says the 6A is now losing its headphone jack, and nobody's screaming about it. You know why? Because the market was ready for it. Early adopters from Apple took the plunge and weren't even remotely impacted by it in the long term. And I've done this with other businesses. I've gone into businesses and said, look, you have a customer base, but they're not evolving with the times, which means your business has to stagnate. Your business has to just stay stuck in history, supporting all of these people that really need to be pushed forward into the coming age. And so you basically have to teach them, earn their respect so that they follow what you are guiding them down. And then you pull the ripcord and ta-da, save your business. Because if you stay in the past, you're going to get passed up by competitors that see the writing on the wall. So I'm glad that they moved on. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. That's the channel where I'll be talking about business, technology, strategy, at the startup entrepreneur type of perspective. Not really talking about big business, because not everybody is interested in launching a mega corporation with massive number of investors and massive number of all of the financial machinations as well. So MicroStrategy extends week-long decline to 53% as Bitcoin dips below its average price paid of $30,700. You can't tell me that this is open now to regular investors. Gone are the days. People that were Bitcoin billionaires because they started out early and stuck with it were nothing but dreamers that this is exactly what would happen. And if you've bowed out, then good on you. Take that real money and go somewhere else and invest it wisely. And you'll be making anywhere from 3 to 12%, depending on your strata of risk. And on average, you should be making at least 6%. If you do it right and you don't mind the possibility of losing some money on the higher risk investments. Become an angel investor, for crying out loud, and find somebody that you believe their dream. The decline in MicroStrategy stock continued on Wednesday after Bitcoin briefly dipped below the company's average price paid for the cryptocurrency of $30,000. MicroStrategy fell 27% in Wednesday trades. Let me see something. Yeah, well, it's climbing a little bit. So it's up 7 today. And that's the whole buy on the dip kind of stuff. So, okay. Last article. Wait, let me click the link so I can give credit. This is a Business Insider, Markets Insider specific article by Matthew Fox. And let's see. MicroStrategy first began adding Bitcoin to its balance sheet in 2020 and has amassed 129,218 Bitcoin at an average paid price of $30,700. That didn't sit well with investors when Bitcoin fell below $30,000 on Wednesday, hitting a low of 29,314. And it's sitting at 29,504 right now, Bitcoin is. So I think this is a kind of a futures. There's some people that have a vested interest in getting that Bitcoin price up. And so if you have an average price of $30,700 on your Bitcoin and Bitcoin is below that, you're in some serious trouble. But maybe it's a long play. I think that Bitcoin is too volatile, and it's pegged to US dollars, not to real value. So it doesn't have any inherent value. It's not pegged to anything other than the US dollar, and the US dollar has real value. It's built around the GDP of the United States. The entire workforce is what's bolstering the US dollar and its competition with other countries' denomination of cash, whatever it is. Okay, so the next article is in the Mobile channel, XRay. Scientists enhance XRay data analysis with artificial intelligence. This has been around for a little while. I'm just going to click the link and we're going to go over there so that I can show you this. So what has happened over time is the resolution of X-ray technology has increased, and now we're leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning to find out about, to see beyond what the human can see. We are not infallible. I'll put it to you that way. But computers can take our level of expertise, we embody it in the computer, in the algorithms that are powering artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we leverage it so it can dig deeper into the data that we can only see depending on the ability of our eyes to see something and the resolution of the screen. That's kind of our sticking point. So it says a group of researchers at the U.S. DOE, Department of Energy's Argonne National Laboratory, are harnessing AI to perform the challenging task of analyzing data from high-energy X-ray experiments. With the neural network-based method called BRAG-NN, the Argonne team can more precisely identify Bragg peaks, data points that indicate positions and orientations of tiny individual crystals in a fraction of the time they used to. This is going to go from this tactical to a more practical aspect. And this competition will lower the price of analysts across the board when it comes to X-ray analysis. The perspective that I have is that not this higher end physics, not this higher end concept, but the practical application of it at a lower level. This is speaking rather big brain, so to speak, and not really my particular take on things. So it says neural networks are algorithms that look for patterns in data and over time learn to predict outcomes, speeding up the analysis of that data. And it goes deeper than that because you can actually do analysis of the images and not just the pure data. What I'm talking about is slightly different than this, but it says BRAG-NN refers to far greater efficiency and speed than conventional techniques. An author on the paper and a group leader of the Advanced Photon Source, a DOE Office of Science user facility at Argonne. So it's really, this is just a higher level of what I'm talking about. After the model was trained on data containing diffraction peaks, the researchers were able to dramatically speed up analysis and improve accuracy. The true accomplishment is that we made peak determinations much faster and also delivered sub-pixel accuracy, the gold standard for making useful conclusions. So, with more data, and this is my comment, with more data comes more accuracy. With more accuracy is more benefit to society. This is a good thing. So I hope that it gets enhanced even more, and it will. Once the benefit and the cost benefit is qualified, this will become even more capable over time. This article is over at phys.org, and it's by Jared Sagoff from Argonne National Laboratory. And with that, I am done for the day. I can't stay longer. I've got a bunch of other tasks that are ahead of me, but at the beginning and end of each show, I show you the front page of ohmTown.com, which is the community that I want you to go to, as well as hang out here on Twitch. If you're interested in YouTube, it's over on YouTube. Just search for ohmTown. And I got a Discord on one monitor sitting here, so go over to a Discord and become a citizen of ohmTown everywhere. I'm even on Twitter, but I didn't even post today's show because it was so last minute. And thank you very much for coming. I will see you tomorrow. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do it at 11 o'clock, but I might get pushed to 1 o'clock based on all of the duties that I have set before me. And thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.